Hello everybody, I'm Dan and I'm going to be talking about Onya. So I'm just going to make sure I've got my notes all in the right place and then I'll start talking about Onya. So I'm going to leave this mouse here because I watched the trouble that Rick had with that and I'm not going to have that trouble myself. So every now and then I'm going to reach over and click it and have it is. So I'm going to talk to you about what is Onya. Actually no, I better start with myself. I'm Dan and I run a business called Onya. And I'm here with the idea that I'm a case study. So I'm a prime example of somebody who Bright Pearl have taken on, and I use Bright Pearl. I use it every day. I used it about an hour and 20 minutes ago when I sat on my bed in my hotel room about 150 yards away over there. I used it in the car, in the back of Chris's car on the way here between Manchester this morning on my phone. I use it all the time now. So back to what Onya is. I have a business, and the business is called Onya, Onya Innovations. And the idea is that I make things that you use again and again. So this is a shopping bag made from parachute material, and it stuffs up into a little pouch. With the idea that the little clip here, you use it. You use it to clip it to your keyring, you use it to clip it to your handbag, with the idea that you keep it Onya, and therefore you have the bag. So whenever you need a plastic bag at the checkouts, bang, there you go, there's an Onya bag. So in time, I've made quite a few things with the annoying pun of Onya on it. So we have this, it's called an Onya back, and it is a rucksack. This one's made from recycled bottles. So this one is made from parachute material. This one's made from recycled bottles. And when you're keeping this one Onya, it goes into a little pouch about this size. I make a shoulder bag, goes over the shoulder, looks lovely. You can fit a laptop in there, etc. And again, goes into a little pouch with the idea that you keep all of my products Onya so that you can use them whenever you need them. This one here might look like a stick of dynamite, but these black bags here, they're made from sweet corn. So when you pick up behind the dog, you're not using a plastic bag. So whenever you dispose of them, about 2 to 3 months, and the whole thing just melts away, thus releasing the dog's lovely goodness back into the world. So that one's Dump It Onya. So we've had Onya back, Onya side, Onya bag. This is Big Onya, which is a big shopper. I've got Onya Way here. This is a system of net bags. I haven't got any lovely fresh mushrooms or tomatoes to show you, but they're to eradicate those horrible plastic bags that you get in the supermarket. That you just get used once and then thrown away. So again, it's just another reusable alternative to something we use once and throw away. I've got a sandwich wrapper somewhere here. This one works. What we do is we pop our sandwich in the middle here. Let's say, just imagine that these leaflets are our sandwich. Pop it in the middle there, fold over the sides like that. Velcro meets the end there, keeps your sandwich nice and fresh, and it stops you from using cling film, tin foil once, and again, you just throw it away. I have a range of drinks bottles, so this is the last Onya you're going to get for the evening, and then I'll start talking about other products. H2 Onya, with the idea, it's just a reusable alternative to plastic drink water bottles. Bottled water itself uses a vast amount of water to make it, a vast amount of oil and a vast amount of oil to get it to where you consume it. So bottled water is great if you're in a disaster zone, if you're in a flood, if you're in some massive disaster, but we have the pleasure of fantastic tap water in this country. We should use it. So that's what Onya is and what it means. It's a load of eco products that, hopefully just enable a tiny little bit of behaviour change so you can become a little bit more eco-friendly. So, history of Onya. Here's where we launch into the big bits. Right, so Onya was started in Australia by my brother. He was actually on a beach, lucky boy, and his son was running around in the surf, and he trips over a plastic bag, falls over, and my brother was like, oh man, that's disgusting. We moved to the other side of the world, this beautiful place, and my son still falls over plastic bags. So he went home that night, and he sat in a hammock. This big hammock was made out of an old parachute. And when you're not using the hammock, it stuffs up into a little tiny pouch, about the size of one of those really big jars of mayonnaise. With the idea, you clip it to your backpack and you've got your bed that you keep on you, in effect. And he was like, well, couldn't we do this? This is just a gigantic bag carrying me, and it stuffs away into a little pouch. So therefore, this is where the Onya bag started off, and that's where we started making them. A couple of months after that, I had a personal situation where I had to stop working. I had to look after 2 children, and I needed a job. And John said, well, why don't you sell Onya in England? So we started working together and developing all the products. So we started off with the bags, and now we've got this wide range of products. And the reason why my talk is called From Market Stall to Multi-Channel World is because that's where I started. I started off in a market stall. I used to get up, used to take my kids to their auntie on a Saturday morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, drop them off, go down to Greenwich Market, set up my market stall, and I used to sell Onya bags. It was great, and I made money, and I put that money back into Onya, and I bought more Onya bags, and I went back down to Greenwich Market, and that's how my business was born. I then had a very, very basic website, which I am almost embarrassed that 10 years down the line how badly I made it. You were only able to buy 5 bags at a time, and they were £35 plus postage. And I was, from the day we switched it on, I was shocked that anybody ever bought any off it, because it just seemed a vast amount of money for people to pay for a product that, at the time, plastic bags were given away free in supermarkets. Nobody cared about them. So as my business changed and developed, the next, probably the big step I did, is that I started going to trade shows, selling my Onya bags to other people so that they could then sell them in their shops and their retail sites. At this point, I'm still me, it's Dan, I'm on my own with 2 little kids, running my little business off my kitchen table, and I'm doing it all on Excel spreadsheets. And the world's getting a little bit crazy and a little bit confusing. Thankfully, a friend who lived down the road, she was an accountant. And she decided, oh, why don't you start up and get a proper accounts package so you know what you're doing, because I'd be trying to add it all up on Excel spreadsheets. So I got an accounts package. It was a fairly basic one, and I used that for quite a while. But as things changed, we added the new ranges. The rucksacks came in, the shoulder bags, the lunch wrappers, the big bags, the dog poo bags. And that was the time when we had this accounts package, and it sort of grew with us. But eventually we got to the point where we outgrew it. The next big stage that happened was that I used to have a few members of staff who used to come in and we'd pack up all the bags. So we'd be selling lots out from the website, taking them down. We literally would. I'd go and do the school run with the big bag on my back, take them down to the post office in the village and send them out. I'd be sending them out to shops after trade shows. And my business really sort of grew from a real grassroots one. But the next big step we had was I outsourced my recruitment. Okay, and that was a big thing, you know. I don't know if I didn't see how many people put their hands up about who had businesses when Rick asked them, but at that point when you have something, you build it up for 2 or 3 years, and then you have to give your baby away to somebody else, and they have to look after it, and you have to trust them sending your business out, you know, delivering your goods, what your perception is. But I have a great fulfillment house, and they're really cool. I work with them, and my account manager, I feel probably closer to her and speak to her on a daily basis, probably more than I do my wife, actually. After a while, we decided to have a new project, and I set up a website, it was on the previous slide, called Reusable Bottle, because I thought that bottled water just seemed a ridiculous waste. So I went out and I sourced all sorts of other reusable bottles. I brought a couple along today, but I have plastic bottles, metal bottles. This one's the one that, I brought this one because it's the one that Iron Man carries in the Iron Man film, and I sell these. It's very cool. So all of a sudden, the next big jump for my business was I had all my SKUs, all my product lines that were mine. They were all called Onya. They had my little black square on it, so I knew everything was. Then all of a sudden, I was buying things from other people. So then I was a shop. So I was a shop before, but I was an importer and a wholesaler and a retailer. But I'm retailing other people's products now, not just the ones of my own. So we had a big jump, and the accounts package I was using, it was doing okay, but it was sort of creaking a bit at the seams, and it wasn't quite making any sense. So I take all these new product lines on, I launch all this website, and has anybody launched a website? No? Okay. Well, my personal experience, the first one was great. I launched it with Onya. I got written about in The Guardian 3 weeks later, and the sales went great, through the roof. The second website, I thought, oh, it's great, I'll make another website, sell all these bottles to everybody, and it'll be brilliant. So you make this wonderful shop in this virtual world, but I didn't spend enough time, as Rick mentioned, on marketing and stuff like that. And I made it, so all of a sudden I've got all these bottles, hoping that everybody's going to buy them, and they don't. And I'm like, oh, it's great, because I have to still grow the bottle site, get it moving and get it going. And at roughly about the same time, I get approached by Amazon to say, hey, we've seen your products at trade shows, we think they're really cool. Do you fancy selling them on Amazon? And at that point I was like, okay, yeah, give it a go. Actually thinking, well, I don't mind selling my Onya stuff, but I've got all these bottles that really aren't selling in my web shop quite yet, because it hasn't got the search optimization, it's really not working. So I was like, yep, signed up to Amazon. So I'm starting to sell on multi-channels. So I've got money and orders coming in from all these different places, and I'm still trying to sort of to juggle it. Thrown into the spanner that I move my business, but I have these great members of staff that I want to keep them, and I want to try and work out a way that I can do that. So what I do, we move 150 miles away from my 3 members of staff, who are brilliant. They work with me all the time. So we have to set up the system of working remotely and dialing into computers. And as you can see, the story's getting more and more confusing, and it's getting a little bit harder to manage all the way through. Then along comes our friend eBay, and eBay is, oh, why don't we sell on eBay? Because we've still got all these bottles. You know, the bottle site's doing well now, and we wanted to try and keep all these income streams going along. But now it's getting really messy. And with all these route to market, so I've got 2 websites, I've got Amazon, I've got eBay, and I've got the dreaded phone in the office as well. So the phone rings, and it's somebody in Spain saying, oh, I want 50 or 60 Onya bags, or I want this. And I'm trying to manage all of this, and I'm trying to work out how I can manage it all, and where it's all getting. So I'm going to stop there and say that's how Onya has developed. That's the story so far, okay? And I want to just explain. Here we go. So we've got importing. I'm importing all sorts of different things. I'm wholesaling, so I'm selling some of my products to shops. I'm distributing, so I'm sending large boxes out to Spain, out to Greece, out to Italy. I'm retailing myself. I've got my own websites. I've got online marketplaces. I'm going to trade shows. I'm going to retail shows occasionally. I've got my products. I've got Onya's products. And then I've got to try and manage that there's all these people in this warehouse owned by somebody else who are sending this all out on my behalf. And you're thinking, now why have I told you all of this? The point of me trying to explain all of this right now is that my business is quite complex. It's quite crazy. Some people have business plans. They read their business plans. They know what they want to do from day one. Sadly, mine hasn't been like that. Mine's been just a bit like, woohoo, let's go do this, let's go do that. Yeah? I'm managing it all, but it's all a bit crazy and a bit bizarre. But the other reason for explaining it is so that I think that hopefully, if you're here interested in Bright Pearl and you've heard a bit about it, there must be some part or one of those words that is relevant to your business profile. It could be still a service and not a direct product. But the point is to show that Bright Pearl will manage all of that. So now I work with Bright Pearl. And I need to flick back to the other page. So I've now got 2 new websites. I've got multiple price lists that happen on Bright Pearl, which is great. And that means that I can sell something. I can sell this one on Amazon at £9.50. I can sell it on eBay at £8.50. I could sell it on £7.50 on my own website. I can sell it to a wholesale customer when they log into my website at £4.50. And I could sell it to my distributor in Spain for £3.75. Not all those figures are correct. I'm making them up for you. But the point is that you can have multiple prices and multiple selling one single product that is in stock through multiple channels. So that's how Bright Pearl is working for me now. I have the full integration of stock control. It's managing my products. It's managing my stock. When I sell out of something, it switches it off on eBay, it switches it off on Amazon, it switches it off on my website, so that whether it's somebody wanting to buy it at wholesale or retail. So there we are. We've arrived at the other part of the title, which is the multi-channel world. So I've gone from a market stall with me going, telling everybody about parachute bags and how they're really cool and going into pouches, to now quite a diverse business that works on many levels, that works now with an online solution. So just lastly, back to that online solution. So before it used to be that the 3 lovely members of staff, they used to have to log into my computers to work remotely. And now they don't, because the other wonderful thing about Bright Pearl is it's up there somewhere, whatever they call that cloud thing. And they sit in their house at whatever time of day they need or want to work, and we all work together on Bright Pearl. I dare to touch it again now. So that's full integration, and that's how it feels. You have a system that updates all of your processes. It can change stock levels, you can change price lists, and you can integrate all these parts together. And sorry, making all of those processes work. The automation, if you do get time, go and have a look at the displays that the guys are going to show you. I have 3 members of staff, and I thought a massive part of this process in changing an accounts package to Brightpearl was going to be that I'd spend loads of time teaching my staff what to do and how to do it. But it's also amazingly intuitive. You've got Lego blocks that change colour, you've got lorries that change colour when things disappear out of your warehouse, you've got purchase orders that change colour when you know that you've emailed it to your supplier, you've got sales invoices that go green because you've invoiced somebody, which means that there's either money on the way or that they've already paid you. All these parts of the automation are really simple. And that's how Brightpearl has helped me. So while I was talking about my business and Onya, you probably thought, man, this guy's ranting, he's waving his arms around, and he doesn't really know what he's doing about his business. And one of the biggest things that's happened and how Brightpearl has helped me is it's managed to, it does all of that, it does all of the thing, and it's reined back control back over my business. My business was really easy in the beginning. I had 1 bag, it was in 3 colours, I had 1 price, and I sold it on a market stall. Now, as all businesses do, they change, they evolve, they move, and now I sell them on 9 different price lists to umpteen customers in 3 different currencies. But it's a system that, amazingly, it's really clever, and it does it all for you. It also manages your time better. I find that, as an example, last week I was in Harrogate at a trade show, 5-day trade show. You're standing there selling my wares to other shops, other retailers, possible distributors from overseas. And normally what would happen is I would go, right, I came in Harrogate, it's July, I have to write off the next 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks after that, because I'm going to be spending all that time catching up on my inbox, but also keying all those orders, sorting out all the issues, sorting out the point of sale for all the shops. And 3 days after that trade show, I got on a train yesterday and went to Manchester. It's last night, so that we could do this same talk yesterday morning. Now, I can't imagine that 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 1 year ago. I would have been so preoccupied with trying to manage the business. But now, as I said, I had to do a couple of orders this afternoon, and I sat in the back of Chris's car, who's going to talk in a minute, and as we were whizzing along whatever motorway it was, I wasn't paying any attention, but I was managing my business from my mobile phone. I have a couple of apps on my phone. The apps either link into Brightpearl with Flash Player, or I have apps on my phone that link directly into the back office of my shopping carts. And it means that in a world where we're all on the go, we're all busy, we're all doing stuff all the time, I get to fit that in with my lifestyle. So, getting the right system has big effects, and I must say that that sort of sums it up really. I've had quite an epiphany in the last couple of months where things have really settled down, and I've actually, like I said, regained the business, regained control. Here endeth the speech from market stall to multi-channel. Do you have any questions? Anyone?